You're listening to the Remote Millionaires Podcast, the show for aspiring and established entrepreneurs who want to create and scale six-figure success online without being chained to a job, location, or computer. I'm your host, Tom Gaddis. Let's dive in. Aloha and happy new year. Welcome to 2023. I hope you had a very safe and productive and fun holiday. I know I did. I'm excited to be back here in the studio recording episodes. And in this episode, we're going to get back into some training that we do inside Remote Millionaires. So I'm going to share some insights and some specific strategies to help you get on track building a remote digital marketing agency. Look, working remotely is where it's at. I love it. It has allowed me to live a lifestyle that I never thought possible. And I want to be able to help you do the same thing. So in this episode, we're going to start talking about fulfillment. And I titled this episode, Flipping Fulfillment on Its Head, because that's really what we do inside Remote Millionaires. Look, the reality in today's day and digital age is there is too much to do by yourself. In the old days, you used to just be able to power through and pile the work on your shoulders and do everything yourself. But there's so many different things involved today. Just because the space is more competitive, more people are out there, all these things going on, that it is almost impossible to do it all yourself. And if you are doing it all yourself, you're going to need this episode even more because you completely understand the overwhelming nature of doing it all yourself. It is 12, 16, 18-hour days, always thinking about work, always working on something, never having time to yourself. And that is not why I built a remote business. I don't know why you want to build a remote business, but I hope it's not so you can work more. The idea is to work less and have more control. And the way we do that is with outsourcing and outsourcing fulfillment. And in 2023, it's easier than ever to do that. And if you follow the strategy that I'm going to lay out in this episode, you're going to be able to not only do it easily, but you're going to be able to do it without using your own money. And you're going to be able to set yourself up for success down the road. So let me pull up my notes here and let me get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about in this episode is the number one big mistake I see almost everyone make when it comes to outsourcing. And that is waiting too long to start outsourcing their fulfillment and the work. I made this mistake. I've seen countless others make this mistakes. If you're listening to this episode, do not make this mistake yourself. The current thinking for most people, and this makes sense logically, is you think, oh, well, I'm going to build an agency, right? A remote digital agency. So I'll go out, I'll start getting some clients. I'll do the work myself to start because, maybe you're on a shoestring budget like I was, or, you're just trying to generate extra cash. You want to keep more for yourself. So I'm going to do all the work myself. And then eventually, when I get busy enough, I will start outsourcing. Now, the problem with that approach is that when you get so busy that you're like, I have to get help in here to do this, usually you're scrambling to get that help and you don't set yourself up for success. And it's a struggle. That's why so many people that I talk to say, oh, I tried outsourcing and it didn't work. Well, no, what they did was they got so busy that they needed help. And then because they were so busy, they couldn't really focus on bringing in quality people and monitoring the work they were doing in the correct way. And so it didn't work out for them. They were not set up for success. They were super busy themselves. So they were so busy that when they tried to bring somebody in to help, they didn't have time to train that person effectively or to do it the right way. So what we want to do is flip fulfillment on its head. We actually want to start with fulfillment before we even get our first client or when we have very few clients. But how do we do that? Well, I'm going to give you a 6-step action strategy at the end of this episode on how to do it. But I want to cover a few more things before we get there. So look, when it comes to prospecting and fulfillment, everything is connected. And what's really important to note is that when we're talking about building a remote digital marketing agency, like the agency that we have in Hawaii, which our plan going into 2023 is to take that agency to over 7 figures. Right now, we're doing between 6 and 700,000. I think we did in 2022. So we're gonna take that agency now and move it into a 7-figure agency, which is going to require putting more of these fulfillment processes in place and things like that. We're going to share how we do that along the way as we do it. But when I talk about our agency, and we do 5 services in the agency, we offer websites, social media management, we have paid advertising, we do reputation, and we do SEO. But we did not just spring forth doing those 5 services, okay? We started with just one. For us, it was websites, but it can be any service that you want. We just started with websites. So the important thing is what I call the power of one. So when you're talking about building and growing a real business, one that will sustain the type of lifestyle you want, number one, we want to start outsourcing sooner rather than later. And the fastest way to do that is with your fulfillment. Number two, we want to just focus on doing it with one service. That way, we can focus on prospecting for one service. We can get our fulfillment in line. And when everything's moving along, then we can add another service in. And that's how we build and grow an effective agency that offers multiple services. Trying to do everything at once is a recipe for disaster. Okay, so first, we want to start building fulfillment early. We want to focus on one service in the beginning, one service, and we want to realize that the fulfillment and the prospecting are connected. They work together. We don't go get a bunch of clients and then figure out fulfillment, and we don't figure out fulfillment and then go get a bunch of clients. Like, we're going to do these two things in sync. We're going to do them at the same time. And that really is the essence of what I call flipping fulfillment on its head. Now, how is this going to help you build a real business and an effective business, right? Don't you think, well, Tom, I need to have a client before I can do fulfillment? No, like, let's look at this. Let's say that you're brand new to this whole digital marketing agency thing. And you want to start with, let's just say social media is a service that you want to start offering, but you know nothing about it, zero. I'm going to show you how flipping fulfillment on its head will help you learn everything you need to know about offering social media as a service. You don't need to go buy a course. You don't need to spend hours reading blog posts. You can learn everything you need to know and have confidence in your ability to deliver just by following our simple strategy of flipping fulfillment on its head. Because what you're going to do is you're going to start by posting a job on a platform like Upwork or Online Jobs PH, and you're going to be looking for a social media person. In that job, you are going to explain what you're looking for. I have a digital remote marketing agency. I'm looking for someone to run my social media campaigns. Please submit a resume with what you offer, right? Now, people are going to start submitting things to you. You are in that process, you're going to be seeing the vocabulary that's used to deliver this skill. Some of the vocabulary you're not going to know. So what do? Well, when you don't understand a word, you go to Google and you look it up. So as you're looking at resumes and seeing responses, and maybe even you go on Upwork or Online Jobs PH and you look at other job postings that other people are making for social media people. What are they looking for? What are they asking for? What price range are they in? You start keeping notes on all this stuff. Any words you don't understand or something you're like, I don't know what that is, you look up. Pretty soon in that process, you're going to start to understand the basic vocabulary of how people talk about social media and what it is and what it involves, right? Plus, you're going to post your job, and these people that do it as a living, that know how to do the fulfillment of this service, they're going to send you their information. And you're going to start messaging them and interviewing them and vetting them to see if they're good at what they do. Well, how do you do that? First, you start by asking them, well, what packages do you offer? They'll tell you. Well, what does that include? What does that do for the client? Right? Can you give me some examples of campaigns you've run and the results it's gotten for your clients? So as you're doing this, right, you're seeing, okay, well, they have 3 packages and it consists of A, B, C, and D. And this other one is these things. Like, you're learning everything about social media, what they offer, the results it gets, what it does for the clients, because you're talking to the person who's actually doing it. You're talking to the expert. And when you see someone that has good results, they've worked for good clients, the clients say good things about them, right? You interview them, they have great communication skills, you actually talk to them, you can feel pretty confident that they can do a good job for you as well. Maybe you even give them a test project so you can really see how communicative and the type of work they do. But think about what you learned in that process. You learned the vocabulary. You learned what people offer. You also learned what other people in the market are looking for, what they're charging, what they're doing. All of that just by posting a job that you knew nothing about to start. But at the end of the process, you have a basic understanding of what this service is. Now, let's talk about how that helps you to sell, because I said fulfillment and prospecting are connected. So you knew nothing about social media management. Now you've got a real basic understanding of the vocabulary, right? You've been talking to people that do fulfillment. Let's say you found someone that has some packages, so you know what packages they offer. You've seen results they've got for their clients. You feel very confident in their ability to do the work. Maybe they've done a test project for you. And now you're like, man, I know this person can do it. So now you have confidence to sell, right? Because you know if you get a client, you're going to give the work to this person and they can do what they say they can do. But think about everything else you know. You also know what's included in their social media packages, which is what you will be selling and marking up. So now you know what the hard cost is to you, so you know how you can price those services for profitability in your remote digital marketing agency. Plus, you've asked them about the results they've gotten, maybe asked them for case studies. You're using the clients they've worked for. You have that information that you can now use to sell social media services for your agency because they're the person you're going to be using for fulfillment. So you can use their results, their testimonials, their work examples in your selling process because they are your fulfillment person. Do you see how all of this is connected? So now we've taken a skill that we knew nothing about, and we have packages, and we have pricing, and we have results that we can show, even though we ourselves have maybe never done a social media campaign. And we can have confidence in our ability to deliver because we've properly vetted our fulfillment person. So now all we have to do is go out and close the deals. So this is why we recommend you start with fulfillment. And you can do this with any service that you want to offer. So as we're vetting our fulfillment people, then we're also prospecting. So let me lay out a 6-step action plan that you can take after this episode and implement right away. So first thing, pick one service to start. Don't try to go out and find someone to do 15 different things. Pick one service, maybe a service you're already offering. If you do websites, do websites. If you're doing social media, pick a social media person. If it's SEO, pick a SEO content writer. Maybe you want, if you're doing social media yourself, maybe you want a social media content writer. Pick something like that. If you have no idea where to start, just pick a web person because almost every digital marketing agency needs to have a good web person on standby that they can use for various projects. So just pick that, but pick one. Okay. Trying to get more than one going at once is just too much trouble. Okay. Go to Upwork or to Online Jobs PH and search for people that are looking for providers of the service you've picked. So let's say that you picked, we'll just stick with social media management. Let's say you picked with social media management. Go to the job boards and look at all the other people that have posted jobs for social media management people. Look at what those people are looking for in these people, what they're asking for, the pricing, all that stuff. Make notes. Then make your own job post. Again, along the way, words you don't know, things you don't understand, take a minute, look them up, figure out what they're talking about. Now make your own job posting. When people start replying and submitting applications, start talking to them, right? Start vetting them. What you're really looking for here is someone who has really, really good, clear communication. I would stay away from agencies. You want to work with an individual person. If somebody says they work with an agency, just move on to the next. Another little trick you can do is in your application, you can ask a secret question like, When you reply, tell me your favorite song. This will let you know that people actually read your job posting and they're not just mass submitting. So you want to weed those people out. You want to identify somebody that's an individual. They're not an agency. They seem to have a good resume there. Then you want to start chatting with them and you want to set up a Skype interview to talk to them in person. Very, very important. Do not skip this step. Do not rely on chat. You want to actually talk to the person and hear their communication skills. If they can communicate effectively there, you're good to go. Once you have that fulfillment person, and I would be very upfront with them, hey, I'm working on building a digital remote marketing agency. I'm getting my fulfillment in line. Then I'm going to start prospecting. Once I get a client, I'm going to come to you. I'm not hiring you right away. I'm just vetting my fulfillment people so I can get off the ground. Once you have the fulfillment person vetted, then start prospecting for your service. Find people that need your service, start reaching out, start following up. Do that every single day until you get a client. When you get a client, get the money from the client and then hire your fulfillment person. Now you don't even have to use your own money. You're using your client's money. Then continue to prospect and follow up and get another client, and you just keep doing that over and over and over until you have 3 to 5 clients for the service. And then you're ready to start the next service. You can start that whole process again by posting a job for the other service you're looking for. Now, I know you may be thinking, Tom, it cannot be as simple as that. It has to be way more complicated. That will never work for me, but I'm going to tell you right now, it will work for you. You just have to do the work. You have to follow the process I outlined. Don't think, well, I don't see how posting a job can help me learn about a service. Like, just do it. Just follow that little action plan that I outlined. Go out there, post a job, go through the process. At the end of the process, I promise you, you will know more than when you started, and you'll be even better at doing it the next time. Pretty soon, you're going to have an extremely valuable skill. You will be able to go out and find people to do fulfillment at will for any service or anything that you want to add into your agency. It's a skill that you need if you want to build a digital remote marketing agency. And what I covered in this episode is exactly what we go into great detail and help to do for our Remote Millionaires members inside that program. So if you're interested in getting that help, if you want help doing this, if you want my help doing it, if you want Nick's help doing it, if you want our team to help you do this exact process, you should head over to remotemillionaires.com, fill out an application, and let's see if it's a good fit. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your week. If you loved this episode of the podcast, go to wherever you listen to it, leave me a review. I'd really appreciate that. You can find the show notes for this episode at remotemillionaires.com/podcast. Again, if you're interested in the Remote Millionaires program, go to remotemillionaires.com, fill out an application. We'll take it from there. Finally, take action on what I laid out here. If you take action, you will get results. So take action on what I laid out here. And I will see you here next week for another episode of the Remote Millionaires podcast.
Hey, if what you've heard today on the Remote Millionaires podcast resonates with you and you want to continue the conversation, then I want to personally invite you to head over to remotemillionaires.com and schedule your free Remote Millionaires business development call. We will analyze your business and show you exactly how to accelerate your results and build a wildly successful business you can run from anywhere. Until next time, Tom Gaddis, signing off.